Welcome to Real Estate Milestones, where we explore fascinating topics in commercial real estate with knowledgeable industry experts. I'm your host, Ben Malik, and I'm a young real estate professional who is passionate about adding value to people's lives through the incredible power of real estate. My goal is to help you discover what the heck is going on in the industry and how you can get involved. This is Real Estate Milestones, where your future in real estate lies just around the corner.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Real Estate Milestones. So I want to start by apologizing for the unexpected hiatus. I'm hoping that this episode gives a suitable explanation for why I haven't posted in a couple weeks. But after, I think, 73 weeks of posting a podcast every single week, I think I'm due for a break. But no, there's good reason for why I had to take a little pause, and we're gonna get into that. But a teaser. I am currently in my new apartment in Santa Monica, Los Angeles, where I will be residing for the indefinite future. It's a great spot. If I push my head against the screen, I can see a sliver of ocean, so not too shabby. But how did I get here? It's a long journey, so I'm gonna take you back to where it all started. So I'd say about April and May, around final season, finals of university, the last few weeks of school, I started to get a little bit of stress because I had been probably from the beginning of the year and even longer been talking to people, networking, hoping to land a job, making just friends and connections, and building knowledge about the industry as many of us have been aware, but definitely started to come to a head at the end of the year when I started getting a little bit stressed because I had to kind of come to terms with the fact that I might graduate university without a job, which is something I never expected for myself. I've always been a very hard worker who's always, wanted to push myself. I expected it to be not as hard as I imagined it to find a job, regardless of the market, just given the fact that I, work really hard and I really, I'm eager, and I'd hope that people would acknowledge the fact that I'm eager to work, willing to put my head down and learn. I just want to, surround myself with experts who I can learn from and soak in all I can. But near the end of the school year, I started to come to terms with the fact that I might graduate without a job lined up. And once I acknowledged that, it started to relieve some stress. But definitely I guess I started to think about it, and I was thinking about this time of my life, graduating college, having, the beginning of the summer, and realizing that I could put my head down and keep working and keep grinding, which is what my natural disposition would be to do. And I definitely did a lot of that, but I also realized that this was a time in my life where, when I look back, am I really going to remember a week or two of keeping my head down grinding? Or is the part of this life or the part of my life period that I'm going to remember, spending time with people who I love and experiencing the world? And so I decided to go with my best friend to Peru to go on a 4-day hike to Machu Picchu, and then spend some time in Costa Rica where I could surf. And who would have known that I would learn so much from this experience? And I want to share that with you today. So yeah, when I realized that this was going to be the time of my life where, I'll remember traveling more than anything, I decided to go to Machu Picchu, or to go on a hike. And so I fly out of DCA to Bogota, or I guess to Lima, Peru, and I spend a night there. And that's already pretty crazy because I'm just seeing a part of the world that I've never seen before, where the infrastructure is not as good as America, where the buildings are, look like kind of thrown together, or at least a lot of them I saw, and I was kind of already experiencing a kind of living that I've never seen before. But then I take another plane the next day to Cusco, which is 11,000 feet off the ground. It's a city in the clouds, per se, or you could say, and it's a really beautiful city, but it took a couple days to get acclimated to the weather. But yeah, the food was really good there. I celebrated my birthday on June 2nd there, with my best friend. And the next day we wake up at 3:30 a.m. to get on a bus to go out to the start of this hike out in the middle of nowhere in Peru, and that's the start of something beautiful, because the moment we get there, we see this huge snow-capped mountain. And we're in like 75-degree weather in shorts and short sleeves, and in the distance you can see this huge mountain, this huge snow-capped mountain, and you already start to get a feel for just the majesty of the world and the enormity of Mother Nature. And so we started our trek, and I guess hiked the first day for a couple of hours, and it was definitely to get adjusted to the high altitude before we do the major hike the next day. So that was a nice little warm up. We decided that the top of the banana is actually the bottom of the banana. So if you're looking on YouTube, the part that we usually consider the bottom, the part that doesn't have the stem, that's actually the top. That's how monkeys open bananas. So that's a fun fact. But yeah, I'm team open from the bottom of a banana. And then the next day, we hike 6,000 feet up to the top of Salcantay Pass, which is one of the biggest mountains in that area. And it was just a profound experience for me, because I just realized, I've been at school in New Orleans and just DC, around the country for so long, that I didn't realize, but I had now realized that I kind of forgot my place in nature, and forgot that, wasn't really in tune with the fact that we're animals, and we're just part of nature, and that, we're living in this built environment where, we're kind of on top of nature in a way where we're not directly in contact with the world, like the world, but just being out there with this enormous mountain that's millions and millions of years old, realizing how short my life is in, how long this mountain has been there and how much longer it's going to be there after me. Really was brought a lot of peace and kind of perspective to the world, to my life, and kind of, it was very relieving and relaxing feeling, but also just acknowledgement of how short our lives are and how small we are. And given that it took 3.5 hours to hike or 4 hours to hike 6,000 feet up, and it was just with a heavy backpack, I was sweating, and I was just totally drained, and realized the world is big, the earth is big, and Mother Nature is a force to be reckoned with. But on the way down from that mountain, it's another 8 hours to the next hiking, or the next campsite. It's almost a 15-mile hike or whatnot, and we're literally near the top of the snow-capped mountain, and the rest we go down the mountain, down and down and down, and it just starts merging into jungle. Like, we were literally at the beginning of one of the beginnings of the Amazon River, and getting into the Amazon jungle, and just seeing the change from mountain to jungle in that rapid, that walk down the mountain was just so unbelievable. Like, seeing these microclimates as we, transcended or trekked through the woods, it was just really, really beautiful. And after hiking through these amazing climates, we end up at Machu Picchu. And our tour guide tells us about how in the, in that region, the Incas and the indigenous people of that region, the religion is centered around Pachamama, which is the Incan word, or one of the ancestral words for Mother Nature, Pachamama. And that they're very in tune with Pachamama and their religion and their culture and their life centered around their, communion, or their belief and their faith in Pachamama. And that's not generally the topic of the religions of the West, in which most of us are from, but the concept of Mother Nature is still very core to, or can be very core to our lives, which I find to be a nice parallel. However, the point is, what I realized is that the Incans built Machu Picchu on top, like they built it on top of a mountain, like in the middle of a mountain range, and it does not seem possible. Like, how do they move these enormous stones to the top of a mountain and orient them in a way and build such a solid foundation and such technically expert engineering that 700 years later it's untouched. These stones are in the same place they were for the last 700 years, unmoved. And we think of ourselves now as technological experts, right? That we're the cutting edge of technology that the human species has ever exhibited. But back then, I'm sure they felt the same way. However, the thing that really stuck out to me was that the reason they were so powerful and the reason they were so successful in their building was instead of kind of usurping Pachamama, instead of trying to conquer Mother Nature and to use technology to defy science, not defy science, but defy physics and defy natural occurrences, they really built in communion, in partnership with Pachamama, with Mother Nature. That they used gravity as much as they can to move rocks, and they used the natural structures of the mountain to build these solid pieces of infrastructure. And they used natural rock formations for irrigation and for terracing, for farming, and there's all these amazing feats of engineering that really came from being a partner to Mother Nature rather than being a conqueror of Mother Nature. And I think that's something that I want to take away from that experience, and that I hope you do through the story. That in the future when I'm going to be involved in real estate deals, and I'm hoping to make a positive impact in the built world and on the communities that I'll be serving in any capacity in this real estate industry. That I always want to remember what I learned from the Incas, which is that how to ask the question: how can I be a partner? How can I be a partner to Mother Nature? How can I use how can Mother Nature's power and my respect of the nature, respect of the power of nature, how can this be integrated into the projects that I'm working on? For example, how can we use natural formations to avoid hurricanes or to prevent the effects of hurricanes? How can we build in places that might be more suitable for survival in some sort of unexpected natural disaster? And then also, how can I build in a way that has a reduced geological and a reduced environmental impact as much as possible? How can I build in a location that can allow people to commute using the least carbon they can and most efficiently commute? Or how can I build using materials that will be durable and last a long time, but also respect the environment from an efficiency standpoint, from an environmental standpoint, but also from a quality standpoint, right? Especially, how can I integrate nature into my spaces to feel this feeling that I felt when I was thrown out into the woods with no Wi-Fi for weeks and weeks, for 2 weeks. But just being in that environment and having nature around me was very grounding, and definitely allowed me to have the energy for when I come back from this trip to be more productive. So these are all themes I'm thinking about as I think about the Incas and experience Peru, and enjoy Machu Picchu. On the way back from Machu Picchu, I took a quick stop in Costa Rica, where I wanted to spend some time surfing and maybe have a beach vacation rather than a hiking all day vacation, which was a lot of energy, but ended up being pretty tiring vacation there too, because I'd surf every morning for an hour and a half and surf every evening for an hour and a half for 4 days. And that really solidified my respect of Mother Nature, because there's a lot of big waves that pummeled me, and I realized how small I was when these waves are just crashing on my head, and I had a pretty big bruise on my thigh for a little while. But yeah, it's all fun and all good stuff. But to round this all out, on the way back from Costa Rica, I took a plane to Orlando, which then went back to DC, where I was holding up for the past around that time. And as soon as I touch down in Orlando for my transfer, I get an email from someone who I had been talking to about a potential job, and she says that, can we talk tomorrow on Monday? It's like I got a really good feeling then, and I was like, yeah, of course. We set a time. The next day, I was offered a position to be a capital markets analyst at CAM Group, which is what brought me out to Los Angeles, where I can, begin my career in private equity and real estate. And, I'm still so in awe that I have this opportunity and that I had a great, I'm already here and I'm settling down my apartment on my own. I have a couch so far. That's all I have, just a couch and a pillow. But that's all I need for the time being. And and it just feels so good to have finally been, I guess, acknowledged for for the hard work I've been putting in and for the passion I've hopefully been exuding on this podcast and in the world and in life and with everyone I talk to. And I just want to say that the one thing, and it's so beautiful to have, I guess, this opportunity to work with people who share the same values as me and who saw what I stand for, saw my values of hard work, of, curiosity, of always trying to learn, and of, I guess, hopefully humility and being able to, willing to do what it takes to get the job done with whatever tasks I'm going to be assigned, and whatever projects I'm going to be working on. But I guess what I wanted to say was that, it can be a long road of a lot of hard work with seemingly no results before a result may come your way, right? So I spent almost a whole year trying to find an opportunity, and 8 months go by, and I've worked every single day to find a job, an opportunity to grow myself and grow my career, and after 8 months, it's nothing. Right? It seems like nothing. And that can be really demoralizing and stressful. But what I want to say is that if you know what you're doing is what's going to lead to results, and you know that it's just a matter, and you believe that it's just a matter of time, that if I keep doing this thing that, which is talking to people, which is networking, which is, putting yourself out there, that over time, that's what's going to lead to the result that you want. That you gotta keep grinding and keep working and be patient and persistent, and that as long as you do the thinking and you actually know that what you're going to do or what you plan to do is going to yield the result, and it just maybe it's not, you need to reappraise, but usually, or maybe it's just a matter of time and persistence and patience before you achieve the result that you're hoping to achieve. But in doing so, I urge you also not to sacrifice your morals, and not to sacrifice what is important to you. As much as I wanted to stay home and work because I know I wanted to get a job, I care deeply about my friends and relationships, and living a life which has beauty and nature and amazing experiences. So as much as I wanted to work, I took the opportunity to go on a vacation with my friend and see the world, and I'll always remember that. And that was a beautiful experience, and look how it worked out. The moment I got back into the country, I was offered a job, and it just, something seems like it works out, like it always works out. Some beautiful story got put together in my life recently. So be persistent, be patient, and never sacrifice who you are. Thank you all for bearing with me and waiting this last month. It's been a long move from across the country, but hopefully this week I'll be settled in with all my furniture and everything in my apartment, and then I'll be off to the races. Started my job, and I've already been learning a ton with a lot of smart people, and it's been a great experience. But I hope to post a podcast every week if I can arrange that. It might be hard to record them as much as I'd want, but I'm hoping to at least get you a couple episodes a month with some super high level intelligent, experienced people, and I hope it's going to provide a lot of value for everyone listening. So thanks again for joining me on this real estate journey. I've had some beautiful real estate milestones in the last couple days, last couple weeks. I hope you keep making milestones as well. Everyone, keep making milestones.
Before you go, I just wanted to say thanks again for tuning in to another awesome episode of Real Estate Milestones. If you've been enjoying the show and you'd like to offer your support, please leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It's the best way to increase the show's visibility and help the message get out to a greater audience. I really appreciate your time and support, and keep making milestones.
The information provided on this podcast is intended to be educational and informational only and is not considered to be formal legal advice. The listener should not take or refrain from taking action based on its content. Any listener in need of legal opinion upon which to rely in decision-making should consider formally engaging an attorney to review relevant facts in detail and examine the pertinent law as it applies to those facts.